for joining in and making this summit worth the effort. And on this note, I would like to invite Dr. Rupa KV presenting to you our legendary speaker of the session. Over to Dr. Rupa.
Thank you, ma'am. With immense respect and gratitude, I am pleased to take this privilege to welcome our esteemed speaker of the session, Mr. Darshan Doshi. So Mr. Darshan Doshi is the founder of Dasar, an online community that offers habit-forming programs to enable people in achieving their health and wealth goals. On Dasar podcast, you will find interesting conversation with founders and investors. Over the past few years, he has worked with 100 plus founders in various roles at the Reliance Jio GenNext, Vadvani Foundation, and Flame University. As the director at Adoption, he has been working with a stellar team that is building one of the most innovative learning and development SaaS products that is loved and used by thousands of business leaders around the world. As the founding director, Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at Flame University, he is building entrepreneurial village that nurtures and supports entrepreneurs. He recently launched the one-year PG program in entrepreneurship and innovation to enable entrepreneurs of all kinds. As an advisory board member at Babson College Collaborative, USA, he is enabling member universities around the globe to create a strong entrepreneurship education ecosystem. Previously, he has led operations at Reliance Jio GenNext, managed family business in fertilizer and engineering, and led strategic projects at VR Grace USA as a part of its marketing leadership program. He graduated from Babson College with honors and has been active in the US and Indian startup communities in various roles. He is an active Thai charter member on its governing council and member at the Pune International Center. So as a super mentor at various venture fast track program organized by Vadvani Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and AIM Crest, he is guiding startup incubator CEOs to create effective startup ecosystems. So we extend a warm welcome to Mr. Darshan Doshi to deliver his talk on how to pitch your startups to investors. Over to you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Rupa. That is such a generous and kind introduction. Thank you, Dr. Varsha, and the whole Jain University team for inviting me. But most of all, my gratitude to the 322 people who have joined over here and some more people on Facebook and other social media channels. You know, you could have spent this time wherever else you wanted to. You could have gone on Netflix or Hotstar and you could have spent time over there. But you've chosen to be here, right? So I want to do justice to your time, and hopefully I am able to give you at least one, if not 4 or 5 key takeaways out of this session, right? I'm very familiar with other languages too. So feel free to add your questions. Let's make this as interactive as we can be. Okay, I'm here for you. So if you are not getting benefit out of it, it's not worth of anybody's time, right? So let's make it, I have a presentation. I'll share the presentation. We don't have to complete the presentation. What is more important is your questions, okay? There is no silly question. I was a beginner. I am a beginner when I am starting something new at Dasar today. I am not an academician. I launched a 1-year postgraduate program in entrepreneurship at Flame University. I've done a lot of things for the first time, and I've started that by asking some very silly and stupid questions. So please, let's have more questions come through from you. And Dr. Rupa, if you could bring those questions to me, because I'm going to share my screen, right? So I might not be able to do that. Just stop me there and then, and let's make this fun and interactive. Okay.
Sure.
So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share and talk a little bit about pitching, right? Startup pitching. If some of you have seen the latest Shark Tank India, right, which is put the social media and news channels on fire lately, right? I actually pitched in the original Shark Tank, right, which was, I hope you can see my screen. I'm going to make this full screen, right? Who do you see here? You see Mark Cuban, all right? You see Damon John. These are the original sharks from Shark Tank in the US. This is me 10 years ago. I got this great opportunity to pitch to these guys when I studied at Babson College in Boston. Okay. Within 3 months of reaching Boston, I'd won the internal competition. Big credit to my friend who's on my right side, Joseph Drashel, this handsome looking guy. He is an actor, director, and we were working on a gamification startup in 2011 using augmented reality. Think about it like a scavenger hunt, but you actually have actors around you, and you could use virtual reality and augmented reality to play in it. And that got us a lot of good credit, right? We won the internal competitions. We got a $40,000 grant to go to Startup Chile in Santiago. We made a little bit of money. We made a few thousands of dollars while Joseph and I were students as MBA students at Babson College. But we got an opportunity to meet people such as these. The pitching experience was unlike any other. The rigor that we were put under over almost 2 to 3 weeks. I remember being in the parking lot and just rehearsing my pitch for nights together. I would have my wife is an art of living teacher. She would go in Boston to take the course, and I would be in the parking lot practicing the pitch as much as I can. Right? It requires time. It requires effort. There is no substitute to hard work. But it's a lot to learn. Okay, and a lot has changed in the last 10 years, where I've had a chance to meet over 5,000 entrepreneurs across India, across the US. And I've been pitched to a lot, and I have pitched to many other people as well. And so I'm going to try and distill some of the learnings for you over here. Okay. The base reason, okay, is why should we pitch at all? Why can't people just do what I say? Right? मैंने बोला है, मैंने बनाया है, मेरा product है, right? Build and they will come, right? That was the mantra back in 1800s or a century ago, because there was not enough supply, there was more demand. In the last 100 years, we've become a materialistic world. There is more supply than there is probably demand for every single product out there, right? You're using Amazon, you're using Flipkart, you're using Shopify. You know what I'm talking about, right? Even just in a simple thing like a phone, you have like 20 options that you can buy today. So why pitch at all? Okay, you can pitch to investors like Shark Tank. I need money. I need to grow my business. I don't have money. So you can pitch to banks. Traditionally, if you see our parents, my parents, there was no venture capital industry. So you would go to a bank and you would do a pitch. You would say, here's a business plan. Here's what I want to do. Here are the financial projections. Please give me a loan of 2 crore, 3 crore, 20 crore, 500 crore, whatever might be the case. The second is you're always pitching to customers. When you are trying to build a business, today, I'm trying to build Dasar, or 2 years ago, in the middle of pandemic, I launched the 1-year postgraduate program in entrepreneurship and innovation at Flame University. I was the biggest proponent, and I used to pitch anyone and everyone. I am pitching to you right now as well, right? I put in the contact details. I put in the contact details of Dasar. I put in the contact details of Flame University. I put in the details of adoption. Why? Because अगर मैं नहीं करूँगा तो और करेगा कौन? Right? And an entrepreneur's job is to get the things done, right? Which means you have to be shameless. You have to be courageous. So you have to go in front of customers and you have to say, please buy this. The 90-day Get Financial Freedom program. It goes live on Sunday. Okay, this is for people who want to get their personal finances in order. You could be 15 years old. You could be 50 years old. Okay, everybody wants to make money, but what are you doing to improve your routines, your habits in order to earn money or grow money or manage money, right? And so every day in the evening from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., I just pick up the phone call. And from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., I'm only trying to get customers. Okay. Hey, Rupa, I think, I know you for some time. This is what I think this program is about. I think you might be interested in it. And this is where the context comes in, right? So a pitch can be, there are different variations of a pitch for an investor, for a customer, for a partner. Now let's think about a partner, right? Adaption is in leadership development for business leaders. And you will find that there are various companies which do assessment, right? You have MBTI, you have 360 degree, you have Strengths Finder. So then we go to Strengths Finder and we say, hey, Strengths Finder guys, you're doing an awesome job. You help people find out what their challenges are or what their strengths are. Now, wouldn't you want someone to actually implement those and help them improve? That is where adaption can play a part, right? Let's partner together. हमारे जो customer है वो आपके पास भेजेंगे, आपके जो customers है हमारे पास भेजो, right? And so that's how, in a very simple way, you can partner. Now, there's a lot of jargon words. Okay, I try to keep it extremely simple, common sense. Anybody, my 9-year-old twins should be able to understand this, right? Competition. You should go and talk to your competition and pitch to your competition too. You never know, they might turn into a collaborator. Okay. Or you can take a look at what your competition is pitching. What are they saying? What are the choice of words they are using, right? And lastly, press, right? Times of India, mein, Byju's, White Hat Junior, right? All of them pitching all the time. What are they doing? Why are they putting all of this? Shark Tank, someone. So yesterday or day before, one of my close friends, Rohan Rehani, he runs a company called Moonshine Maidry. He was on Shark Tank India, right? And why did he do that, right? Is a good question to ask. Yes, there are investors, but there is also a lot of press, a lot of coverage, which can help you get in the limelight if you can use getting in the limelight correctly, right? See, being in the limelight is not the point. There could be a lot of articles written about it. Does that translate into you getting your objective, which is funding or customers or something else, right? So that is why you need a pitch. I'm going a little fast. If you want me to slow down, if you have any questions, just stop me. All right. What are the various formats of the pitch? Today, everyone's attention span, thanks to these mobiles and Instagram, is that of 5 seconds. Okay? Instagram Reels, right? Nobody, tell me, when was the last time you sat down and watched a 30-minute video? Not a Netflix series, not a Netflix series, when someone was explaining something. I know at this point, the moment I get boring, you're going to go to your phone. You're going to go to WhatsApp. You're going to see your next notification. You're going to see what photo of sunset your friend has posted, right? That's all right. That's all right. What I'm saying though, is you need to grab attention and you need to retain that attention by continuously building curiosity, continuously adding value. How do you do that? You, as a startup, as a person who's building business, you need to have a 30-second pitch. It's easy to say and ramble on, the sir is this for 30 minutes. You're not going to care. What you are going to care about is, I have a personal finance program. Are you interested? I have a fitness yoga meditation program, which you can do at the comfort of your home. Are you interested? I have a 1-year postgraduate program, which at the end of the program, you get at least $10,000 scholarship from Babson University if you choose to do a master's program. I've given you a 10-second pitch right there. right? Similarly, 60-second pitch. Similarly, 3-minute pitch, 10-minute pitch, 20-minute pitch. If you're going to go to an angel investor, now I'm an angel investor myself. I've invested in just over about 20 startups, right? And I've seen roughly another 50, 60 startups raise a few $1 million or few tens of crores, right? Rupees. Those meetings, if I have to invest in you, I want to probably take more than 20 minutes and probably more than a meeting of 20 minutes, right? So that is another reason why you are thinking about the pitch format, which is longer, right? So then that takes me to the next part. What are the different elements of a good pitch? You need to have a story. You need to be entertaining. You know, in the education industry, there is a lot of need for entertainment being issued as well, right? Games have been used forever to teach people. We use games to teach children, toddlers, right? And adults are nothing but overgrown children. So we have to keep that entertainment value going on forward as well, because it increases engagement. How do you keep it entertaining? You have to have a story. You have to have a hook. You have to have a follow through, and then you have to have a conclusion where it can be an ask, it can be a click to action, it could be anything else, right? There are various ways by which you can activate that value that you might have created. Second, I'm talking about Instagram. I'm talking about my own experience. I shared my own story. My network connection. I hope you guys can see me. My internet connection was just a little bit unstable.
Yes, sir. Yes, no problem.
There's no emotional connect. Nobody's going to listen. Should I care?
Dear participants, please be with us. Mr. Darshan Doshi will be joining in back soon. Thank you. Dear participants, we welcome to our 9-day International Entrepreneurship Summit, the most awaited summit of the year 2022, AVLOKAN 2.0, requesting all the participants connected with us in this journey through Facebook Live and Zoom platform to stay tuned with us. We are going to begin again in next few minutes, as and when Mr. Darshan Doshi joins.
I am back.
Yes.
Hey, so sorry. We've just had a network connection. I've connected to my phone. So what I was saying is, without an emotional connect, you know, it took a minute for me to come back. Many of you have gone on your mobiles. Hopefully I can reel you back in, right? Third one is clarity of thought and action. When you're pitching, you need to have extreme clarity. Okay, one of the things that I've seen, and I was guilty of this because I've grown up in Pune for the first 25 years of my life. And then I went to Boston. And in Boston, I learned how Americans pitched, presented, talked, articulated. Okay. And in the last 10 years, I've really improved my articulation, my communication skills. I hope this is a testimony to that, right? Be direct, be clear, don't beat around the bush. Get to the point first and then unfold. Okay. I think that is a very important parameter to have a good elements of a pitch. Um, I've seen so many founders in India who are just not able to articulate as much. Okay. Now, don't get this wrong. All what this means is we need to work doubly hard to work on clarity of thought and articulation and action. Fourth part is energy and enthusiasm. If you don't show energy, why should anyone else care? Why should anyone else show energy? If you don't support yourself, if you don't have the self-confidence, if you don't have the energy to jump up and pitch at 3 o'clock in the night, okay, कि तुमको ऐसे रात को उठाया और बोला चल, you need to pitch, this is what you have to do, you should be ready, right? And then last one is an ask. What's the purpose of anything if there is no end point and end outcome to it? Okay, so you have to actually flip it over. You can either start by saying, this is my ask, and then you tell the story, or you tell the story, get to the ask, and then move in different elements. And I'm going to cover this part of it as well. All right. Start with a story, build credibility. Okay. I think what Rupa did is she's put up a lot of credibility in the start. She gave such a long introduction. I was only feeling embarrassed, right? But essentially, what does that do is it shows that who you are talking to and why should you listen to this person? What has this person done? I tried to establish my credibility upfront. This is a session about why anyone should pitch. What was the first photo that I put up? Me with Mark Cuban and Damon John and Schlesinger, right? In that saying, I've pitched to these guys, right? That was not to boast, but to establish credibility at the start that I have done this, and from my experience, I am talking about this, right? And when you talk from experience, people are more likely to listen, right? The third one is show how big the problem is. When you are pitching to an investor, okay, what does the investor want? The investor wants that if I put 1 crore rupee in your startup, you should be able to make me 3 crore or 4 crore rupee in the next 5 years, roughly, right? You can obviously say, there is more money to be made. Everybody wants more money to be made. But an investor is kind of wants to know how you are going to make that 1 crore to 5 crore. Now, if I am putting 1 crore, right, then there will be a total of about 4 or 5 crore that will be actually invested in your company, which means that will be at a valuation of roughly at about 15 to 20 crore, maybe 25 crore, right? Which means your valuation needs to be at least 5 times in the next 5 years, if not 100 times, right? Now, when can your valuation be 100 times? When you are able to grow at a insane pace, right? Think SpaceX, think Flipkart, think Zomato, think Swiggy, right? We have so many examples in front of us. So it has to be a big problem. If you come to me and say, I want to start a trading business, मेरे को trading करने का है, chemicals में trading करने का है, उसके लिए मुझे 1 crore दो. I'm going to say, why will I invest in that? What is the innovation? How big is that problem? How do I know you can compete with the likes of, say, Zuari Chemicals, which has been around for like 30, 40 years. It has all the money, all the resources, all the network, all the distribution in place, right? Just because you want to start does not mean I'm going to invest, because I don't have the confidence that you can grow this business and return me money, right? So showing a big problem is not only about optics, okay? It is not just about optics. सिर्फ दिखाने का बोलने का नहीं है. You should be able to follow through. Okay. And then show how the solution works. So you should be very clearly, and I'm going to give you an example in the coming slides. Okay. So maybe I'll actually move forward a little bit. Why is this idea important now? Right? If you are looking for an investment, right, you can actually say, I don't want to raise an investment. I want to get feedback, or I want to pitch to an investor. I want to pitch to a customer so that I can get the customer to pay and buy my product or offering or service today, right? But in that also, what is the differentiation, right? Why should you join Dasar program? Why should you join PGPEI, right? My pitch is simple in Dasar. You know everything that is there. Go watch everything that you want on YouTube, on Instagram, get all the inspiration on Instagram and Twitter. When you want to apply, right, and you actually want to get an outcome where you are better at operating yourself, where you are better at managing your money, where you are better at getting your fitness, right, then come to Dasar. Because what we do is the boring work, the tough work, which is day in, day out, putting in that one workout, doing that one exercise, doing not just learning, but applying and getting over your own fears, your own limitations, right? So that is the differentiation, right? अगर knowledge चाहिए, YouTube देखो और करो और फिर बोलो कि आता है कि नहीं आता है, right? Knowing is not equal to doing. There is a huge difference between the two. And when you want to do and become better at it, that's what Dasar is good at. Similarly for PGPEI, right? So I'm not going to give that example, but you can understand what it is. What is your go-to market and business model? How are you going to make money? When are you going to make money? Do you have your financial projections in place? A lot of people answer to this, I'm not a finance student. I'm not good with numbers. Well, you're pretty good with numbers to come and ask me for money, aren't you? Right? So sorry if I'm being a bit blunt, but you need to know your numbers. If you want my attention, if you want my time, you want my money, then you should be prepared completely to be able to answer and show conviction. Give me confidence that you're the right person to put my money on. What is my alternative? I can put that same 1 crore in a fixed deposit. I can put it in sovereign gold bond. I can put in other startups. I can put in cryptocurrency, right? There are so many other ways by which I can put the same money and get a assured return if I have to, in the case of fixed deposit. The seventh part is that you should cover in your investor pitches traction. What does traction mean? Traction means how many customers have you actually got? How many variations of your product have you tried? What is your technology stack? How does your operations work? Have you got everything figured out in order to go from 10 customers to 100 customers to 1,000 customers? What have you achieved in the amount of money that you put in yourself? Right? Because you would have started, right? Before coming to me. Hopefully you're not coming with only an idea. You would have implemented that idea. You would have put in your own 2 lakh, 5 lakh, 20 lakh, 30 lakh. So my first question would be, in the 20 lakhs that you borrowed from your parents, from your own savings, how much money did you generate out of it? Were you able to generate at least 2 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees? And if you didn't put your own money, why should I put my money in you? Right? So those are some good questions that a lot of investors will ask. And then the last one is ask and milestones, right? So you can actually ask for money, you can ask for advice, you can ask for introductions to customers, introductions to partners. There are so many things, right? And then you have to also let people know what the milestones are, right? So what does milestone mean? If you're going to take, say, an angel round typically is 3-4 crore rupees. If you raise 3 crore rupees by the end of this month, at the end of next month, the month after, month-wise, what are going to be your milestones over the next 12 to 18 months? I want to know exactly, and I want to see those numbers, right? And that is the level of detail that is expected from you. This is a norm. You might not know it, but this is a norm, right? So having very, very clear idea about it. Sometimes you have to also, I always tell a lot of entrepreneurs who want to play the VC game, right? Venture capital game. I ask is, what is that money going to get you, right? That money that you are raising is going to get you some resources, right? So can you get those resources without getting the money? It's a good question to ask and worth spending a little bit time on, right? Because then you can avoid going through this whole process of pitch karna hai, puchna hai, paise kidhar hai, kya hai, all of that stuff, right? Here's an example. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Intercom. In any website that you go, you'll find this chat icon on the bottom right? So Intercom was one of the first ones to make that happen back in 2013 or 12 or something like that. And this is their actual pitch deck in which they raise their money, okay? The first slide was only about Intercom. What is the team? And they will show you, what they have done, who's doing what, not fancy titles, okay? It's not about the titles, it's about who is doing what part of the business. And then, what have they done before? So establishing credibility upfront. What is the problem that they are trying to solve, right? I can't interact with my customers or my website visitors when they come on the website and they're scrolling through it. So can I just put this chat icon so that I can chat with them and integrate it with WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger and I can interact with them, right? So that is what they were building, right? Building meaningful relationships with customers in hand, which is hard or impossible for SaaS providers, right? You want to build relationships with them so that you can service them well. If you service them well, they will continue to take subscription. They will continue to, or they might buy from you, right? Because why have that chat icon? I have some question which is not answered. That is why I am not buying. So to help overcome that concern, this is the simplest way to connect directly with the customer so that you can overcome that constraint so that that customer pays or takes whatever necessary action. What is the solution? A simple install like Google Analytics, customer-based browsing, individual customer research, advanced in-app messaging, and customer relationship management. Very, very simple, right? What is the market? At the time, this market has grown significantly over the years, but $21 billion market. What they will do, also mobile and desktop app providers. This is a very important slide. What is the landscape? What is the game that you are playing, right? Who are your competitors? What are they doing? What is your differentiation from them? How will you do what part of it better? Is a very important parameter to think about. Progress or traction, right? The product is in development and in testing. It is ready for public beta. A demo can be given. And here's a testimonial. Jason Fried is one of the most established founders in the world. And he has given a Twitter response. What a fantastic product idea. I wish I had thought about it. What a simple way of putting, minimum words, clean look for impact, right? And then what are they looking for? $600,000 convertible note. Okay, look at the specificity of it. 18 months runway so that they can do these 4 things and they will raise further round. Why have they written plan to raise a further round? As an investor, when can I expect the valuation to increase? When will my money actually increase? Even if it's paper valuation, I want to see what's the roadmap that these guys are thinking about it. So it's a very, very nice, simple slide deck, right? Some simple ways to avoid some mistakes. Tell everything instead of what matters, okay? I've seen a lot of first-time founders do this out of excitement. मेरे को सब बोलना है, सब बोलना है. ये भी किया मैंने, वो भी किया, वो भी किया, वो भी किया. So what? Right? Always take a step back. Practice, practice, practice. Catch hold of your wife, catch hold of your parents, catch hold of your friends, catch hold of your professional contacts. Get investors who don't invest in your type of business and practice with them and ask them for feedback, right? Say, what did you not understand? What could have been done better? What worked? What didn't work? How was my energy level, right? Pitch, pitch, pitch. Before you actually pitch in front of, it's like net practice, right? You don't go straight into a test match with South Africa. You do a lot of net practice. You do a lot of practice games. You play Ranji Trophy. Then you get selected for under 19. Then you go into the main game. And then you get a chance to shine, right? There's a lot of legacy, a lot of grunt work that needs to be done, right? So you need to do that grunt work for your pitch as well. One of the things that I've seen is there are 3 people building the business, so all 3 should talk. Why? Who's the best person who can communicate and articulate and has the best energy? Okay, between me and Joseph pitched the idea. Could I have pitched? Did I contribute to it? Absolutely. But what was the context? We were in the US. I was an Indian with an Indian accent who spoke indirectly, versus my buddy Joseph was a previous actor, stand-up comedian, and a director, and an American. Hands down, he was better than me, right? My ego did not come in between to say, "Nahi, main hi karunga." I was better at Q&A amongst the 2 of us. So we had a very clear understanding कि जब questions आएंगे, which type of questions Darshan will take, which type of questions Joe will take. Right? Too much text in the slides, right? Please don't do that. See this slide itself. Very, very simple way to do it. You can spend $20 and you can get a good template to make slides. And then one mistake is मैंने एक pitch deck बनाया है, बहुत अच्छा है, it's gold. तो वही इन्वेस्टर को भी देंगे, वही कस्टमर को भी देंगे, वही पार्टनर को भी देंगे, वही सबको देंगे. Why? Take the effort. The other person is spending time for you, is giving their attention to you. Take at least that much amount of time to prepare and fine tune your pitch for them. Take the efforts, right? Very, very important. Some other mistakes, no clear ask. Presentation दे दिया. So what? Did you want feedback? Did you want me to just listen? Did you want me to just ignore? Did you want money? Did you want me to introduce you to someone? Right? Another one is you've been given 5 minutes time and you take 10 minutes to present. Why? Can't you practice enough to nail your presentation in 4 minutes, 30 seconds? Just practice. Put a timer. You have a stopwatch. You have a phone. Right? Get it right. It's not that difficult. Right? Don't chalta hai attitude mat rakho. Every detail matters. Everything that you do matters. Everything that you speak or don't speak or your body language matters. Okay? Reading from slides. I'm looking behind and I'm reading from it. Why? Don't you know your slides? Don't you know what your pitch is? Haven't you practiced it enough? And then failing to give a live demo. Now, this is something that everyone loves to do. मैं live दिखाऊंगा कैसे चलता है. And technology, just the way today, my internet, didn't work for a couple of minutes. It works flawlessly otherwise. It comes for the time when I am a speaker at this session in front of 450 people. And conveniently the internet has gone, right? So what can go wrong will go wrong. Do a pre-recorded video, integrate it in your slides, show how your product is going to work. Integrate, right? Show your customer testimonials if you can. A video is better than text, always. Everybody is moving towards 10 seconds, 20 seconds attention span, right? Yeah, so that's it. I think I'm going to stop sharing. 6:44, not too bad. 15 minutes for Q&A, right? I hope I have given an example of trying to complete my own presentation in time as well. So I see a few questions there. How do we want to do this, Rupa?
Thank you so much for bringing in your expertise and experience before us. It indeed is a pleasure listening to your profound ideas. Now we'll take up some questions from the participants. We have a question from Ms. Krupa Shah. When you are pitching to your competitor, doesn't it become risky to give out your idea?
Interesting. A lot of insecurities come out when we talk about competitors, right? What happens agar idea steal kar liya, right? Now, if you just go on Google and you say, give me $1 billion business ideas, you'll find a lot of them. You'll find pages filled with them. I can challenge you that if you sit down over 5 minutes, you can come up with various business ideas which are worthwhile. But like I said, knowing is not equal to doing. To start a business, to create a niche, to create a differentiation is not very easy. I'll give you a playbook and still I'll ask you to run with it. You should have that conviction, right? How do you go from, this idea is really good and let me apply. I'm going to make, say, 1 crore rupees from it. To have that energy, enthusiasm, and then the discipline to follow through, to actually take that playbook and to apply it, there is a whole experience that goes in between that, right? And that is what conviction comes through. You work, then you know, and then you say, I'm not interested. Then you hit a wall, and then you understand, why am I even doing this? Chal kya raha hai? Why am I wasting my time, right? It's not worth it. So, a long answer, but to answer that question, you should be business savvy. You shouldn't tell everything to your competitor. Get to know your competitor first. Talk to the founder of the competitor. Check if this person is mature enough to have a conversation with a competitor in a way to learn from each other and to support each other and grow, and potentially even partner down the line. Okay, doesn't happen many times, right? Because our behaviors come in between, our insecurities, our fears come in between. But I have seen enough cases where startup founders have helped each other while operating in the same space, in the same domain, in the same geography, and they've fed off each other to make each other be better, right? So I think Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, pushing each other to be better, playing the same sport. Think like that rather than what if this person eats my cake, right? That would be my suggestion.
Thank you, sir. We have another question from a participant called Adad from Algeria. The problem of investing in emerging enterprises in developing countries is the problem of the state's monopoly on advertising. How can this problem be addressed, especially for young investors?
That's a tough one. It's specific. It's a very, very specific question. I'll try to do justice. So if there is a monopoly, or that's the differentiation, right? So if I understand your question correctly, what you are saying is, in some countries, the local government backs certain startups and gives them an undue advantage. I hope I have got that right, but I'll try to answer that question from that point of view. That's so Paytm, when demonetization happened, the government of India actually promoted Paytm, which is unlike a free market where competitors fight for each other and fight for the market, right? When it is endorsed by the government of India, then or instituted it, right? When you are paying your electricity bill, you'll find a Paytm option, right? That's an undue advantage. You want to be in that position. No question about it, right? You'd rather be in the position where you are backed by the local government versus you're against someone who's backed by local government. How do you overcome it? I can't speak with experience. I don't have any. What I can suggest, though, is you have to pick your markets. You have to pick a niche. You have to see what else you can do. And typically in large markets, even if there is typically a case where not only one competitor, there's only monopoly, right? Typically monopolies don't quite exist. You'll have at least 2 or 3 competitors operating in that space, right? So Zomato, Swiggy, Uber, Lyft in the US, Uber, Ola in India. So you'll have multiple large companies operating in the same space, going after the same customers, right? So I think it is still possible where you can create a defensible, aggressive approach towards that market. I hope I've answered that.
Thank you, sir. We have one last question from a participant, Dr. Mohammad Jahangir Ali. What are the social dimensions of entrepreneurship?
Can you repeat that, please?
What are the social dimensions of entrepreneurship?
Social dimensions.
Right.
Okay, this is a tough one. Okay, so I'll tell you what I have learned from Babson College, right? I'm an alumni of Babson College in the US, #1 in entrepreneurship. And I'm today on the advisory board of the Babson Collaborative, which has about 30 universities participating in it, right? Trying to build entrepreneurial ecosystem. There's a lot of talk around what does entrepreneurship, who is entrepreneurship for? What are the different kinds of entrepreneurship, right? And then Babson comes out and says, we support entrepreneurs of all kinds, which is what I love. So first part is, why does media, why do we look up to the likes of Elon Musk, to the likes of Vijay Shekhar Sharma, to the likes of Ratan Tata, Mukesh Ambani, right? Zomato, because those are outliers. Those are exceptional capability or outcome freak accidents, if you may want to call it. There's still a lot of effort that goes in it. Please don't underestimate the work that has gone to make it that large. But media loves to showcase outliers. The second part is, what about the mom and pop businesses? You know, the small MSMEs constitute about 72% of India's GDP. Okay, and MSMEs, the micro, small, medium scale enterprises, typically anywhere in the world, constitute about 40 to 60% of the total GDP, right? So are these businesses bad? No. You know, that business which my father started is a small business. It gave him the lifestyle that he wanted. It fed the family. We came from a very, very limited background, very constrained background, financially constrained background. And I was able to do my education and be who I am today, right? So that is entrepreneurship of great kind, according to me, right? It enables people, it enables families. The third part is social entrepreneurship, not for profit, right? Again, thanks for the CSR movements that have taken place in the last decade, environmental impacts, right? Recycling, then energy, all of these industries and domains are really, really good because there is a place for them. What is the social dimension of this? Entrepreneurship has equal to progress, right? Entrepreneurship, because what does an entrepreneur try to do? Try to solve a problem that is not yet solved today, or is solved and can be solved better, right? Better, faster, cheaper. And so there is innovation which is ingrained in entrepreneurship. You can't survive a business, at least not for a very long time, if you don't continue to create value and capture that value, right? So there are two parts to it: value creation and value capture. So from a social dimension standpoint, it is the backbone of the economy. We had the startup day, national startup day that happened. There are research studies which say that most new jobs that are going to be filled. So India needs to fill in about 10 million jobs a year from now for the next 20 years. Who's going to absorb that workforce, right? There is a big case being made that startups are the ones who are going to absorb that large workforce, and not necessarily the very large corporations. Large corporations continue to take majority of the workforce, so we should not discount them. But the delta between an existing organization versus a well-funded startup today, say like a Swiggy, Zomato, InfoEdge, is different, right? It is the one which is driving the economy, right? Because if these guys can feed the household income of people and move lower middle class to middle class to upper middle class and above, that's the impact on the society of entrepreneurship. So a slightly long intellectual answer, but I hope it made sense.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an engaging discussion and enlightening us with your wonderful views and enriching thoughts, quenching our thirst for knowledge on the prospects of business, management, and entrepreneurship by bringing in your expertise and experience before us. The way you threw light on the idea of pitching startups to investors is worth words of wisdom, clarifying our participants' doubts through your in-depth knowledge. It's been indeed a pleasure to listen to your wonderful session. I'm sure our participants would have taken back a lot from your engaging discussion. You enlightened us with your profound thoughts and innovative ideas, bringing in an innovative approach to us. Thank you once again, sir. Over to Professor.
Thanks a lot for having me here. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm going to put in my my call to action. Connect with me. If there is a way I can help you, please let me know. And do subscribe to my newsletter. I write, I podcast, and I podcast about all these things. How can we be better, right? So would love to have you guys on board. Thank you again. An absolute pleasure to be here. And thank you, Jain University, for having me here.
Thank you so much.
You, sir.
Thank you, sir.